Hey, welcome back to The Reverse Effect, a channel dedicated to helping you break the chains of your past so that you can unlock the doors to your best future. Today, I'm going to talk about 7 life-changing principles. In an earlier video, I'm going to leave a link to that video up right here, as I told you the number one thing that you need to be able to make amazing changes inside your life. And I gave a spoiler alert. It wasn't self-confidence, it wasn't faith, and it wasn't passion. So if you want to know what that one thing was, make sure you check out this earlier video. Now, before you can even do that, you have to have certain principles. Principles is something that you stand on. These are moral guidelines that helps you to be able to achieve the goals that you want inside your life. And I'm going to give you 7 life-changing principles inside this video. Starting with number 1, your perspective. You have to be willing to broaden your perspective. Listen, it doesn't matter if you're a go-getting hustler who's putting in a lot of work. If you're only doing that through a 14th Street perspective, you're not going to go that far. Now, if you could take that 14th Street perspective and make it a city-wide perspective, or bigger than that, statewide perspective, or bigger than that, a countrywide perspective, or bigger than that, a worldwide perspective, and even bigger than that, have a historical perspective on how you look at things. This is going to allow you the ability to make a wider array of choices and not just through a limited viewpoint, because that's what your perspective is. Number 2 is your mindset. Often people mistake mindset for perspective because they say that it's all about the mindset. And I tell you that's not true, because if you have a go-getting mindset and you have a shallow perspective, you're not going to be able to go that far. Now, trust me, your mindset is important. And this is the actual definition of what your mindset is. If your perspective is the way that you look at things, the mindset is the attitude that you have about the things that you're looking at. So I could see a car driving down the street. My perspective, hey, see that car? It's going too fast. It's going fast. My mindset gives me the attitude about how do I feel about that car going fast. Your mindset or your attitude determines your aptitude. So if you have a negative mindset with a negative perspective, you're not going to be able to go that far. This is why developing a positive perspective and taking on mindsets that align to the goals that you want to achieve are 2 of the most important keys when it comes to transforming your life. Principle number 3, self-acceptance. Listen, you have to be able to accept yourself for who you currently are and then make a choice to become what you want to be if you're not happy with who you currently are. But before we could actually accept who we are, we have to figure out who we are. We have to learn to develop our own mind, our own way of thinking, and stop allowing other people to tell us how we should think, who we should love, what type of goals we should have, how we define success. If you really want to start taking control of your life, you have to start taking control of your mind. And when you start doing that, you have to accept yourself for who you are, where you're really at, and don't have this overinflated reality of your current position. Because sometimes, some of us are just in shitty places. And if we don't admit to ourselves that we don't like where we're at, we don't like how we look, we don't like how we feel, we're never going to really make the changes that we need to become our best selves. Now, before we can actually get into self-acceptance, a lot of us have to practice principle number 4, which is self-forgiveness. Listen, we have to be able to forgive ourselves for the choices that we did or did not make in life. A lot of times we made decisions based off of faulty information. We made decisions about our life based on how someone else told us that we should be. And if the way that other people told us how we should be is not aligning to what really makes us happy, we're going to find ourselves doing the most work, but getting very little results. And sometimes we're just going to make bad decisions. This is why we have to be able to forgive ourselves. It's like a quarterback that throws an interception. They tell you, hey, you know what? Get back in the huddle, throw another pass. A basketball player that misses a shot, they tell you next time you get the shot, shoot it again. You got to put those things that happened in your past behind you so that you can actually start moving into the future that you desire. The fifth life-changing principle after that is courage. To do these other four things requires courage. You're not going to be able to broaden your perspective without courage. One, because a lot of the perspective that we have is based on what other people told us it should be. And some of us changing our perspective, I mean, some of the consequences could be hell if we let other people tell us that that's what the consequences are. So that's going to take courage to start viewing things different than the way that you were taught to view things. It's going to take courage to change your mindset, because a lot of times our mindset is fueled by our past experiences. And if we've had a lot of hurt, shame, pain, bad decisions, it's going to be very difficult not to have a negative mindset about the way things are happening around us. All right? It's going to take courage to accept yourself, because if who we truly are is not what other people think we should be, it's very difficult to embrace who we are. It's going to take courage to do all these things. It's going to take courage for forgiveness. A lot of times when it comes down to forgiveness, we give that power to other people inside of our lives. So instead of just closing the door on something ourselves, a lot of us, we want closure. We want someone else to tell us why they did this to us. We want someone to tell us why they didn't do this for us after we've done so much. And when you do that, you are lending other people your power. So you got to get up, self-forgiveness and forgiveness, close the door without anyone's answers for you. That takes a lot of courage. That's very difficult because so many people want closure. This is why courage is the foundation of these other four principles, but it's very difficult to get the courage to fuel these principles if you don't start with the process of going through the first four steps. The fifth life-changing principle, become an opportunist. Now, we were taught that being an opportunist is a bad thing. But what I did is I looked up the word opportunist, and I looked up the root word of called opportune. And it just really breaks down in Latin, saying that one who creates favorable circumstances that aligns to the outcome that they want. Or it says bending the river. What's wrong with that? See, a lot of the things that can really help us get the results that we want out of life and do amazing things, we have been conditioned by other forces to look at them as bad things, while they're maximizing and living the shit out of life, having fun, you know what I mean, doing all type of things while we're allowing ourselves to be limited. You have to be willing to create the opportunities that you want, because it's not going to come knocking. And trust me, any opportunity that you think is yours alone and that nobody else can get, you're fooling yourself. Because as you know, there's probably a lot of ideas that you had that you did not act on, that you've seen someone else doing it 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. So remember, opportunity is not owed to anyone. But you also never should wait for opportunity to come knocking. You have to be able to create the opportunities that you want so that you can achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. Number 7 is understanding the power of purpose. I talk about the power of purpose in one of my previous videos. I will leave a link to that video up here somewhere. Understanding that purpose is not this thing that some white dude in the sky is going to come down and say, this is what you were meant to do. No, believe it or not, you create purpose. Purpose is an energy source, a wealth of energy that you can dip into any time that you want. You do it all the time. When you get up to go to that crappy job that's underpaying you and overworking you, and you do that day in and day out, and you do it for the kids, guess what? You just created a purpose. When you go to that crappy job and you do it because you want to get a car, you just created a purpose. When you stay inside those crappy relationships that you know is not making you happy, but you did it for the kids, you just created a purpose. When you decide that you're going to allow fear to govern your life and you don't take action to manifest the results that you want, you created a purpose. Now, if we can create purpose for these survival things and these things that don't serve us, it stands to reason that we can generate purpose for the things that serve us. That is one of the most powerful gifts I believe that we have as man. We have the ability to create purposes to do things that we want to do, even if no one else has done it before. So that is my 7 life-changing principles. I know these principles well. I use these principles every day, all day, twice on Sundays in my very life. Matter of fact, I even wrote a book about it called The Reverse Effect, The 7 Life-Changing Principles. And this is the foundation of this channel right here. Being able to set a set of principles up to help guide you in life so that you can get the results that you want. Once you get you a set of principles, and now these principles will allow you to pick processes that align to the goals that you want to achieve. Once you find those processes and you actually start walking inside them, then you're going to start to find yourself building courage, building faith, building confidence, and building the life that you desire. So if you like these type of videos and you want to hear more, drop me a comment down inside the comment section and make sure that you like, subscribe, and click that notification button so that you can get a notification when I post videos like these. Listen, I enjoy the engagement because without you, I probably wouldn't have changed my life around and being able to be in the situation that I am right now. And that situation is very happy. And I'm hoping to help you manifest that same happiness. So remember, each one teach one. Always strive to be the strongest version of yourself. Never compare yourself to average people, or you'll never be more than average. I'll see you in the next video.